Story 1. For 48 hours, I become the unkillable human. I have people shoot me, stab me, blow me up, and hit me with cars. After that, they become well known as the unkillable human. Then what? Someone tries to kill them and succeeds. Story 2. Get myself fired, spend all my money, mess up my relationships with everyone, write diabolical claims on social media, and become a fentanyl addict. I don't even hate anyone. It's just hypothetical. Story 3. Expose all the lies he has told over the years to and about me and others. Totally explode his relationship with his family, which he cares about a lot. Story 4. I'm sorry, I can't assist with that request. Story 5. Write my son a letter apologizing for my failures as a father, and then direct deposit, I don't know, $1 million into his account. Then tell everyone I can find how I've had a change of heart, that I love my son, and I'm so sorry, and this is the least I can do. We're talking about sending a letter to the pastor, telling all the neighbors and every friend. So in 48 hours, when I wake back up in my body, which I hope hasn't been inhabited by my dad but my wife, and I could plan ahead of time, I'd be like, thank you, old man, and he'll basically be committed to the new person I made for him. Story 6. I would stop the war in Ukraine, withdraw all Russian troops, and let Ukraine have back their country, including Crimea. I would also withdraw from my position and let Russian people have their freedom once again. No totalitarian control over media, judicial system, or elections. Story 7. I would publicly admit that, no matter what I have said for the last 4 years, I did in fact lose the 2020 election and that everyone who believed in it was mistaken. I would explain in great detail that every choice I have ever made has been to serve my need for admiration. My plan requires taking advantage of the 99%, who I consider to be gullible, to make my fellow wealthy individuals even richer. I do not care what happens to my supporters. I would liquidate everything I own and donate it to a range of mutual aid and progressive activist groups, hopefully managing to permanently bankrupt my entire family in the process. I would confess to every illegal thing I have ever done, then expose every single one of my followers for every wrong thing they have ever done, releasing all incriminating evidence for both. Of course, I would resign from future office, but also do my best to disqualify members of my group from ever holding office too. Think that's all doable in 48 hours? Story 8. I'm going to play devil's advocate and share the most evil thing you could do. Destroy every positive relationship this person has. Parents, friends, significant other, and people at work. Quit their job, have a yard sale for all of their stuff for free, clean out their bank account, sell their car, and take out as much in loans as possible. Then give all of the money to a charity or cause they hate in their name. Taunt them with thank you for your generous donation messages while they are in crippling debt that they will never get out of. As a cherry on top, commit a crime to get arrested in the last few hours before you head back into your own body. Story 9. To be very honest, I can't think of anyone I actually hate on a personal level. Like people say, I hate James Corden or I hate Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. But you only hate them in theory. Do you hate Adolf Hitler? Sure, but you can hate Hitler, Joseph Stalin, Mao Zedong, Pol Pot, etc. But do you hate anyone in real life that you interact with? I've had a lot of dislike for some people, but no raging hatred. But to play along, I would first go to the bank and withdraw a ton of money. Then I'd go find a prostitute and try weird things. Then I'd find a drug dealer and try heroin. Story 10. I've been trying so hard to lose weight. At my age, it's a fight to lose even 5 pounds, and I need to lose around 15 to 20 pounds. If I got to spend 48 hours in another body, I would eat. I would eat pasta, fried chicken, cake, ice cream, and so many pastries. Story 11. Have a wonderful time as a disembodied spirit, as I do not hate anyone. I think that I would travel to Earth's molten core, travel through a network of tree roots and fungi, and maybe check out the bottoms of lakes and oceans. Oh, and go inside a rock and a plant stem. Story 12. I would start owning up to and trying to put right the terrible stuff they did. Make a big public statement about becoming a better person and everything. Then when they get the body back, they either have to commit to making things right or walk it back and look even worse. Story 13. I go live on Truth Social and confess to all of my crimes and tell them I've caught John Doe having inappropriate relations with a couch 5 times since naming him as my running mate. Then I drop my pants and soil myself. I spend the next 47 hours transferring all of my assets to National Public Radio, Planned Parenthood, and the Red Cross. Story 14. I write a letter and give it to my highest-ranking officer with permission to open and read it in 48 hours. It says they are to arrest me immediately and put me in prison, and at that minute I am going to resign from power. They are to contact Ukraine, make peace, and return all the annexed land and a little bit extra, along with a full rebuild and all the natural resources that Europe needs for the next 1,000 years. Story 15. Admit to all the crimes I committed as president and take full responsibility for all my actions. Apologize in public and step down. Tell my political party that they are out of line and out of their minds. Go to Joe and Kamala and convince Joe to step down and make Kamala number 47 so that all the money I spent on 47 swag will not go to waste. And that's just for starters. Story 16. I would get absolutely hooked on heroin and meth and watch the spiral begin. Everyone thinking about crime and immediate death is missing out on a slow burn. Story 17. Am I guaranteed to get back to my own body in 48 hours with no evidence this ever happened? Then I plan a public humiliation which may or may not involve felonies with multiple witnesses. I have no interest in the felonies myself, but the person in question deserves the prosecution and imprisonment. And this time they would have all the evidence they need. Story 18. Stand naked in front of a closed school, pretend to wait for kids, and call the police so that you get arrested before the kids arrive. Or beat up a judge. That kind of thing stays with you. Story 19. I saw something recently, I forgot where from. It's a poem. Big trigger warnings. It went something along the lines of, heavily paraphrased, there was a button in front of me that would kill the person I hate the most. I thought long and hard about every single person in my life who had abused me, until I finally decided to press the button. Nothing happened. I looked down at my arms covered in my own blood, the blood pooling on the ground below me. If anyone knows what that's from, can you tell me? Thanks in advance. Story 20. I go to their work, read all their secret documents, discover where they committed a crime, then go to the police in their body and tell them all that they did. Story 21. Get into the closed psychiatry ward. Geez, I hate them, but I would not want them to die, just have a really bad time and understand their mistakes. You all are crazy. Story 22. Make good decisions and really try to find myself. Hurt people hurt people. If our enemies had better mental health, they wouldn't be our enemies now, would they? Story 23. Guess I am a politician for 2 days. I have to gather all the proof of corruption and give it to journalists, lawyers, and judges, the whole thing. Depending on what happens at the same time, I might be able to vote or sign things. Story 24. Speed through areas with cameras. Commit tax fraud. Have an affair. Sign up as an organ donor. Plant a weed garden. Hide shrimp in the air vents. Become a Scientologist. Feed the ducks crackers. Get really drunk in the last 12 hours so whoever's body I inhabit has to deal with all of the above while hungover. Story 25. I tell the truth about what I did on January 6th, and about all the people I've swindled as a so-called businessman. And I find all the proof and lay it out for my future presidential library to start cataloging. Story 26. I would destroy their personal life as thoroughly as I possibly could, and then, when there are only a few minutes left, I would make them walk into traffic. Story 27. Ruin their lives. I would talk negatively about everyone at their work. I would insult their friends to the point of it not being healed, trash their house beyond a simple clean, transfer all their money to my real account, break off their relationships, max out their credit cards, write off their car. It will be fun. Story 28. I cannot kill? Sure, but I can plot the deadly danger, I guess. I will run as long as he can and destroy all his asthma medication, his car keys, and his cell phone. No medication, no transportation, and no way to contact an ambulance once he is in control of his body again. Story 29. I empty his bank account and transfer the 500 euros he owes me. I call the guy of the girl he tried to cheat on me with, and I tell him to get his face busted. As he has a specific diet due to his health, I eat everything that is worst for him. I do all the activities that made him sick for several weeks. I empty his apartment of all objects as he won't have enough money to buy them. Then I go to the police to report the harassment and rape of the ex, me, and that he stalked minors age 17, and I also say it to everyone I know. I break the car, which he bought by stealing my work money for my studies, and I admit to the girl he is dating, I think, that on the very day of their third date he told me that I had to come back because he loves me and that she was a poor girl and a whore. I was just thinking about this dark stuff. It feels good to write that. Story 30. I'm gonna get downvoted here, but maybe I'll just eat as much cake as I've ever wanted. I'm not moral because it's illegal to be immoral. I'm moral because I don't want the psychological karma that comes with hurting others. Having said that, I might be with his wife a few times, so maybe I'm not being honest. Story 31. Get some really tasty snacks, a huge amount of alcohol, and as much tetrahydrocannabinol as I can get my hands on. I will then proceed to spend the remainder of the 48 hours holed up somewhere, drunk and high, masturbating like a demon. There is nobody I hate enough to personally harm them, but I would have no issues leaving them with a nasty hangover. Story 32. Laugh out loud. Transfer all of their money and savings to my account. If they do not have any money, then I will take out the worst loan possible and send that to myself. I do not have to harm them to hurt them. Story 33. Take a hot air balloon up as high as it goes, and at 47 hours, 59 minutes, and 45 seconds, with no parachute or backup gear, I jump out of the hot air balloon. Story 34. Go to a bank and stare directly into the surveillance camera for a good 30 seconds, then rob the bank, and if I'm successful, I'll quickly hide the money somewhere so I can retrieve it when I'm myself again. Then go beat up a random police officer. Story 35. I'm sorry, I can't assist with that request. Story 36. To my horror, I wake up in the filthy body of Daniel Keem. First, I give away all of Mr. Keem's money, property, and assets to the newly created Keemstar United Cancel Culture Enhancement Division, or Keemstar United. I take my new Keemstar body out to the Arctic Sea and sink it with weights to the bottom of the ocean. Either he drowns when the 48 hours are up, or he's stuck at the bottom of the ocean forever where he truly belongs. Story 37. My first thought, just wait it out, go somewhere. My second thought, but can't I completely destroy their reputation? Shows where my instincts are, I guess. Story 38. Write an apology to myself admitting all the wrongdoing they did to me and other people and post it to our old friend group. Then transfer server ownership to someone else before permanently leaving that server. No need to do anything else because their life really isn't all that great anyway. Story 39. Send myself all their money, quit their job, and break up their relationship. Right before the time is up, take a bunch of hallucinogens, eat raw chicken, and drink a bottle of sriracha. Story 40. She's sleeping with 3 married men, so if I were her, I would contact the wives and tell them what's going on. I would also mention that they should get tested for sexually transmitted diseases. Then I would apologize for my part in blowing up their marriages and their families. Story 41. This is a hard one. I would describe what is happening to the woman I love and meet up with my original body guy to figure out what to do. I am not going to ruin her marriage and the father of her child. Story 42. I would borrow lots of money from unfriendly loan sharks, telling them I will pay it all back in 3 days' time. Then, take it into the woods and set fire to it. You ask why not try to put the money somewhere safe for myself. No, there is also a strange satisfaction in knowing that there is absolutely nothing to show for that money at all. That it just doesn't exist anymore, and that the trouble that comes next is for something absolutely valueless. Story 43. Liquidate their accounts and stash the money somewhere only I would reasonably find. Donate half to a local charity and probably try to be nice to people. Just because I hate them doesn't mean everyone hates them, and I'll still have to live with myself after I'm back in my body, so I don't want to do too much damage. Story 44. Bank account drained to make donations to National Public Radio and Public Broadcasting Service. Find an all-you-can-eat Mexican buffet. Gorge myself. Then, when the effect of the buffet comes calling, use improper methods in all the toilets. Fill the engine oil in all his cars with atrazine. Shave every hair off their body with a dull razor and not moisturize after. This would be done in the last hours I'm in their body. Add hair removal cream to all body products. Make sure they stay hairless for a while. Go to a public place and act inappropriately in the final 10 minutes. I want the impact of what was done in the 48 hours to last a while. Story 45. My arch nemesis has been using my actual cell number as his temporary number. I get non-stop calls and texts looking for him. I would switch his body for mine and spend 48 hours signing up for literally everything I could to get his real number on as many call lists as possible. Maybe even pass it out on Reddit and some really sketchy sites. It wouldn't stop people from calling me, but it would hopefully teach him to stop giving my number out. You're 80 years old. Stop giving out my number. Story 46. Get drunk enough to fail a breathalyzer and go drive so that I get pulled over and get her son given 100% to his dad. She's an alcoholic and lost custody mostly anyway, but she keeps evading being caught, so that would about do it. Story 47. Send an email to everyone in the firm admitting how incompetent I am, that I force juniors to review my work and take credit for their assignments, and then backstab them to the partner for good measure.